Tiffany here with Years of Ears, and Brad also, and it's This Day in Disney for November 13th.
Friday the 13th.
It is Friday the 13th. And today we get to talk about something really epic. Fantasia will be celebrating its 80th birthday today. Can you believe it?
80 years.
That's right. Fantasia was released on this day in 1940.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was the third feature film, actually, by Walt Disney Studios, and it premiered at New York's Broadway Theater, formerly the Colony Theater, and that's actually where Steamboat Willie premiered as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
Both
fitting.
about the mouse. So, Mickey, of course. So, the film introduced stereophonic sound to the motion picture industry via a special sound system dubbed Fantasound. And it literally vibrated the theater seats. It was so cool and special. So, those in attendance to this showing were Mrs. Henry F. DuPont, Mrs. William Randolph Hearst, and Mrs. William K. Vanderbilt.
Oh my goodness.
This was, people were
All
very
the families
excited.
were out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got some big
railroad
support.
money.
Mm-hmm. And then, so just some background on why they did Fantasia. So in 1936, Walt believed that the studio star, Mickey Mouse, needed a boost. And so he decided to feature the mouse in The Sorcerer's Apprentice, a deluxe cartoon short based on the 1797 poem written by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe.
Well done.
I hope so. Okay, so matching animation with classical music, which they have been doing in the Silly Symphonies already, but this was going to be even bigger.
Feature length.
And so, by chance, Walt actually ran into and got to meet Leopold Stokowski at the time, and shared his plans for this cartoon short, and Stokowski was immediately excited about it. He had already been working with sound quite a bit, and so he was very interested, and he said he would do this and offer to conduct at no cost.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so
it really did push forward music to the masses. I mean, in a big way. Like, I mean, I realize people had large record collections, people enjoyed having music in their home, but this was the cinema, and this was really cool.
Well, 1940, I mean, it was just beginning.
Yeah.
I think this had an impact. Personally, I really think this had an impact on classical music in our lives. Mm-hmm. And I don't think classical music would have been so much in children's lives and in families' lives if it wasn't for Fantasia.
Certainly.
I really do.
It was one of my earliest exposure to it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so...
I mean, my parents were kind of into Hooked on Classics, and they did like these like disco like remixes of classical music in the early 80s, so I was
that
pretty...
sounds really fun.
It was fun. But Fantasia had its place as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, a lot of people, you know, think that classical music can have big effects on babies and on children and their thinking and stuff like that today. So anyway.
Baby Einsteins.
Exactly. So back to what they were doing. The content and the cost of what they were producing at the time was getting beyond a cartoon. And so that's when it was realized this needed to be a feature-length film. So hours were spent with Stokowski, Joe Grant, and Dick Humer picking music. Stenographs were recorded verbatim. So the stenographers would record their meetings together, going through all the music that they would use. And then they could read back everything that they had talked about and all the reasons why they were picking different pieces of music.
At the same time, that was probably technology that was being pioneered at the time too, like stenography.
Yeah.
And so they were incorporating new technology. So, I mean, but it's cool that they did that. I'm just saying it was probably...
And just that
coming.
effort and time that they put in to pick the perfect music for this film.
Yeah.
Just creative genius at work, really.
Yeah.
So over 1,000 artists and animators were used in the making of Fantasia.
Yeah.
That's just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then it featured over 500 animated characters. So,
you know, and I
you don't
have
really think about that, but it does. It has 500 animated characters in it.
Yeah, and I love Fantasia. I've watched it many times. But I have a little bit of a confession that when I was young, for some reason I went through a time period in my youth, where, like childhood, where I was just like, I couldn't even make it past the first, like, color movements and the instruments and the shadows and the conducting and stuff like that. So for a long time, I didn't even know about those 500 characters that were in the movie. Yeah, I just didn't make it. It just wasn't one that I did. But you know, now I look at those opening sequences with the lights and the shadows and, you know, what they're creating with the perspectives. I mean, right from the beginning, it's mesmerizing.
Yes, it really is. It really is. So, because of the particulars of Fantasound, and I just wanted to mention, we did do a video back in September on Fantasound.
The 28th.
So we'll link that video, or it'll be down in the description. So you can go check that out because there's more detail about Fantasound and the effort it took. But they actually hired Irving Ludwig to manage the first 11 showings of the roadshow, because
to take the equipment.
They had to. There was multiple
theaters
speakers
weren't outfitted,
used.
obviously.
They were outfitting the theaters for this technology. So you can check out that video for more information on that. But because of the war and the cost to run the production of Fantasia, it actually did lose money. And I really do blame this more on World War II than anything else. I know it costs a lot of money, but I really think that it would have really done well if they didn't have, you know, the whole war effort to deal with. And so that's kind of sad. And that is one of the hard things about looking at wartime periods, you know, and how they impact the world and creativity and things like that. It's very sad. But
and events,
it's okay.
Because, like, I mean, the Japanese reactor incident with the earthquake and everything, I mean, that affected, it was either Mars Needs Moms or John Carter. Yeah. And so we have our own events we're living through at the moment that are affecting things. So we know
some of firsthand how that's affecting our society, creativity, and the production of things.
Indeed.
So anyway, so the 1970s, actually 1969, they relaunched it, and it actually made 2.28 million. So
long
they
game.
They did make a lot of
Disney
money.
is always playing the long game. That's why they don't cry whenever people don't like Solo, even though everyone's wrong and it's an awesome movie.
Right. Okay, so it had a huge resurgence in the 70s, and obviously it's a beloved classic now. So just some stats on where it's at now. In the 1940s, the National Board of Review Awards, it was one of the top 10 films then. So it was well regarded. So I really think, like I said, it was that war that affected it being able to make money. But it won 2 Academy Honorary Awards in 1942. And then 1990, it was selected for the U.S. National Film Registry by the Library of Congress. So we've talked about some other things that were selected that are in the Library of Congress that, you know, Walt Disney Studios was responsible for. So Disney wanted, this bit of information was so exciting to me and so sad at the same time. Disney wanted Fantasia to be an ongoing project. He wanted the film to change and be re-released every few years. So they actually had filmed segments that would be substitute previous segments in the film. So they would remove certain portions and put something new in. But this was also because of the war. This project didn't move forward.
So it was almost going to be a traveling festival in theaters because the sound was going to come with it.
Right.
It was going to be an ongoing, regular event. Okay.
Yeah, and so new scenes would be created, and old things would be taken out and cut in the new. Some of these were filmed, and so maybe someday, like if we ever get that, remember we were talking about that
full vault.
Like a vault channel.
Someday,
maybe
all the
we'd
IP,
get to see
just a big dump.
It would be fun. Fun for us. But anyway, exciting day. Oh, there's so much merchandise right now for Fantasia because of this 80th birthday. So get out there, and there's a beautiful Christmas ornament.
And speaking of Christmas, at Disney Springs right now, what appears on the Christmas tree trail map as a Jungle Book tree has actually been changed to a Fantasia tree.
Yes.
So one of the cast members shared with us that they realized, hey, it's the 80th of Fantasia, we better have a Fantasia tree. So the Jungle Book tree became a Fantasia tree at Disney Springs.
Exactly. So go check that out. Obviously, there's that whole beautiful line with the
Make-A-Wish, sparkling.
Make-A-Wish and the
I'm gonna
Sorcerer
get those
Mickey
Crocs.
shoes. Yep.
Can't wait.
Look forward to our videos and his feet having sparkly blue Crocs. And
happy birthday,
lots
Fantasia.
of other stuff. Yes, happy birthday, Fantasia. And I hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.